What should I do with metformin? We're going to be talking about all of that today.
Even those that are very safe, like we'll talk about metformin, these are regulated by the government because they are not in the food supply. Is it okay to take this drug with exercise or not? That's what we're going to cover today. Your most pressing questions answered here today.
But really one of the most exciting classes of drugs is also sort of actually kind of the most boring because it's been around for so very long. An AMPK activator called metformin, which hundreds of millions of people around the world already take for diabetes.
Yeah, it's been used since the 1950s as the frontline medicine to bring down glucose levels in type 2 diabetics. And it's relatively safe as a drug goes. One thought is that the microbiome changes, but a leading school of thought that most scientists agree on is that it activates a protein complex called complex 1, which is involved in making energy in mitochondria. And what it does is it lowers the amount of energy that the cell has in the form of ATP, this chemical that we use for energy. And then you get mitohormesis, mitochondrial hormesis. What doesn't kill the cell makes it stronger. But also by inhibiting mTOR, it'll improve what's called insulin signaling so that the blood sugar that's in your blood, and if you're a type 2 diabetic, it's too high, it gets sucked out of the bloodstream and utilized, which is why it's used to treat type 2 diabetes. But it also raises NAD levels, which, as we all know, will activate the sirtuins. And then chemists have put methyls on them, chemically modified it so that it's more stable, and we call this metformin. And that's what we have as the drug today. And this is where we can speak to a lot of data because millions of people have taken metformin. And one of the most interesting things about it is you can do a retrospective study of tens of thousands of elderly people on metformin and ask, okay, their type 2 diabetes may be reduced and slowed down, but what about other diseases that they're susceptible to? Cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, frailty. And the answer that's quite remarkable is that metformin lowers the risk of all those other diseases.
So when we control for everything else, what we see is that the people who are on metformin are living longer. And that is something that's being investigated in this really large study that's underway, the TAME study. We're seeing a lot of doctors get a lot more comfortable with the idea of prescribing metformin off-label. Just a few years ago, the constraints of what metformin was actually approved for was keeping it out of the hands of a lot of people who thought that it might be good for them in their efforts to slow their aging.
Well, yeah, I'm seeing a lot more people taking metformin with the approval of their physician. And part of it is education.